G'day golfers, Glen at Aussie Golf Pros. Today I'm at the beautiful Monash Country Club, and today's lesson is going to be about technique. Now, if you watch Aussie Golf Pros enough, you'll realise that we focus a lot more on skills than technique. But over the years, obviously, we've found some certain moves in the golf swing that we know that can't give you the most efficient swing possible for you and can also possibly cause injury. So today's session is called 3 killer moves, and each one of them really creates some inconsistency, is inefficient, and reduces your opportunity of generating lots of power. If you're new to our channel, then please click that subscribe button and hit the little bell there if you'd like notifications of when our next video is out. And we bring you new content every week, so do yourself a favour. Here's 3 killer moves. Killer moves. But before we get into those, pop up to the corner here and there's an excellent way to help you to develop a nice sound and simple setup. A little routine for you that's really going to help you with your setup. Okay, killer move number 1. Takeaway. Inside takeaway. That's a killer move. Why? Well, it's not very consistent. We can see that the hands are manipulating the club behind me here, and that's not very repeatable. And also, it's a power loss. What we see is if the club gets behind us here, then the downswing is not going to be very powerful. We can't turn as effectively. It's very easy to then come over the top and get that big pull shot or that slice that a lot of golfers struggle with. So killer move number 1 is definitely the inside takeaway. And some players open the face a lot as well, fan that face open. Don't even get me started on that. What we're looking at here is where the shaft is in the takeaway. So if that's pointing out there, then that's a problem. That's a killer move. Our drill is just see if we can point the butt of the club at the belt buckle. It's as simple as that. Okay, it can be straighter back, it can be in front. There's nothing wrong with being in front. There's plenty of great golfers over the years that have swung the club in front of them in the takeaway. Jim Furyk, Ricky Fowler, Matthew Wolf, the list goes on and on. Lots of great golfers swing the club in front of them. I can't think of any great golfers that swing the club behind them like this. It's just not very powerful and not very repeatable. So that's our drill. Just get into that takeaway position. The shaft is level with the ground and the butt of the club pointing to that belt buckle there. You can do this at home. In fact, I encourage you to do plenty of these, lots of repetitions, a couple of hundred of them. Really get into the habit of just turning into that position rather than manipulating it with your hands or your arms. We want to be stable, just turn the trunk into that takeaway, and you'll see that club starts to point to the belt buckle much more easily. So it's a nice simple drill, and then once you take it to the range, then I want you to incorporate into your golf swing. So we're going to do that by, just without the ball to start with, getting into that takeaway, and then swinging from there. Just nice and slowly to start with. And do it again. Take away. Make sure the shaft is pointing to the belt buckle. And then swing. Nice and smoothly. And then once you've got the hang of that, try it with the ball. Again, this is going to be nice and slow. Take away. Pointing to the belt buckle. And then swing. Don't be in a hurry to get into full speed here. You definitely want to do plenty of shots just at half speed, gradually building it up. And then see if you can have a go at a more normal speed. Still with a little pause in the takeaway. Here, pointing to the belt buckle. And really get used to being slightly in front or straight, that's fine, but just not here. We want to get rid of that killer move of the inside takeaway. It's going to help you to generate more power and much more consistency in your golf swing. Killer move number 2, swaying. Specifically swaying with the hips. Okay, you see this with a lot of golfers. We get into this position, they're trying to generate power by transferring the weight onto that trail side, but the spine is leaning towards the target. And that there is dangerous for your back, because as we swing down, your spine has got to tilt really aggressively from forward to back, and that's putting a lot of strain on your lower back. In fact, the experts reckon that this is the #1 cause of injury in golfers, forward spine lean that some players get at the top of the backswing. Not only that, it's not very powerful because once you get to here, where's all the weight gone? It's gone to the outside of my trail shoe. Now that's not a very strong platform to then drive and turn through into the downswing. We want to get into a position where pressure's on the inside of that shoe so that we can turn more powerfully in the downswing. And you'll notice when I do that is that I'm actually turning into the backswing and my trail pocket's going backwards rather than sideways. So we're loading up into the backswing much more powerfully, a lot more pressure on the inside of the shoe, and more ability to deliver that power into the downswing. So we need a drill to stop us swaying. So you can put your bag, tool stick, actually a chair works the best. And we're going to push it right down. The reason I want it right down is I don't want to hit it with my hands here. It's a safety issue. Right, so again, without the ball, got that angled along my leg there, pretty close, because we want to turn and we want that leg and hip going backwards rather than sideways. Just do it without the ball. Start off nice and slowly, then build it up. Plenty of practice swings. Again, I encourage you to do this at home, just with a chair, and just get used to loading and turning into the backswing rather than swaying. Do it often enough and it starts to become second nature. We're still transferring our weight. You don't have to sway to transfer your weight onto your trail side. Turning gets a lot of pressure on that trail side there. And I'm still getting a good sort of 80% of the weight onto that trail foot there. Then, once you got the hang of that, try it with the ball. Half speed first. 50% swing, really making sure that we're turning rather than swaying. There we go. Turning inside, getting the hang of it, plenty of shots at half speed. And once you feel like you're getting the hang of that, gradually build up the speed to look something like this. I'm generating lots of power. I'm turning, I'm coiling. In fact, I'm generating more power because I'm turning, because you can turn a lot faster than you can sway. It's very difficult to sway quickly, but you can generate a lot of power using the ground if you're turning. All right, killer move number 3. Starting from the top. That transition. We don't need that anymore. So what we see with a lot of golfers, men as well as ladies, is we get to the top here and then we start the downswing with the upper half. Pulling down on the club, trying to generate force, but actually there's a lot more effort there and it's not very efficient. The other thing that can happen is if we start with the upper body first, we can easily come over the top and hit that pull shot to that big slice. Now this is closely related to killer move number 1, where we get inside. Okay, a lot of players that get inside are going to start the downswing with that upper body. But there are plenty of golfers out there that have a great backswing, keep the club in front of them, but then try to muscle the shot there, pulling down on it with the arms and shoulders, and it's just not very efficient. There have been plenty of biomechanical studies done that have proved that there's only one way to be the most efficient with transferring that energy, that power, and that's from the ground up. We want to get to the top of the backswing and the legs and hips start the downswing, then the trunk, then the arms, and then the club. Only in that order are we being the most efficient with our power. So here's a great drill that's going to help us to get the lower half initiating that transition, that downswing, and allowing the upper half to follow. Again, without the ball first, this is called step drill. We're going to actually lift that front foot off the ground and then plant it down really aggressively and then swing through. What you'll see is that it really forces us to get that transition in the right sequence that we're looking for. So step and swing. Actually, we should do it slower first. That was a bit too fast. So up in the air and then swing through. Step, swing. And that's the sequence we need to do it in. If we try to swing first and then step, and I've actually seen that done, then it's obviously not very efficient, not very powerful. step, swing. As you can see, the shift of weight is massive. I'm getting 100% of weight onto the trail foot, and then about 90% of weight onto the front foot. And that's transferring before the downswing, getting that sequence that we're looking for. As before, then we move on to the golf ball. We do it at half speed. Now, of course, it hasn't gone very far because it's slow, but the sequence is there. Got to be patient with these drills. If you try to do them at full speed straight away, then you're really going to struggle with that sequence, and you can typically fall back to your old movement pattern. And if that's starting that downswing from the top half, then that's exactly what you'll do. Take your time with it. Gradually build up that speed. I'll go a little faster this time. And you can see that the lower half is leading that downswing, and it's a bit of a race, okay? Hips, chest, arms, and club is definitely the last thing that we want to come through that impact zone. Now, you're going to miss hit some shots doing this. You're going to hit it sideways. You're going to lose your balance a little bit. Stick with it. You'll get the hang of it. Nice and slowly to start with, and then have a go at full speed. There's a lot of power there. I can really feel that shift of weight, that transition, ground force energy, and turning from the ground up through the shot. And then, of course, it's a matter of transferring that into your golf swing, but not lifting your foot off the ground. Can feel that power. So, obviously, that sequence is up to you. It's really going to depend on what order you start that downswing in, how you're transitioning from the top into that downswing. And if you're trying to muscle things and you're putting a lot of effort in with the arms and the shoulders, then it's going to be upside down, and it's not going to be as efficient as it could be. And it's going to affect your ball striking as well. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed our video on 3 killer moves, and we look forward to having you join us next week. Are you the best golfer you can be?